Uh-oh. That's a tooth. Oh, bloody tooth. Uh-oh. Hello, my name is Jeff Goldblum, and today we're going to be watching some scenes, selected scenes from my so-called career. Watch this.
Yeah, radio's out too. Gennaro said to stay put.
Kids okay?
I didn't ask. Why wouldn't they be?
The great Sam Neill is there, of course. We had to sit there for a time and get the shot. But the very great Steven Spielberg, on that one, I think we came in a couple of weeks or several days under schedule. That guy not only is brilliant and inspiring and exciting because knows everything about what he needs to get, but is also in a creative surge, conspicuously and going, I know what we could do. I know he's prepared so much that he's free to come up with new ideas. And that was the intersection there of Mr. Spielberg and Stan Winston and Dennis Muren and the technology to bring dinosaurs to life.
He left us.
You know, as I remember, Mr. Spielberg and I were talking, and he was so generous. We came up with this idea that instead of in the book, as we got to talking, the lawyer, as you remember, goes, I shouldn't be here because the dinosaurs, the T-Rex is out, and he goes to the bathroom and eats them off the toilet. And then my character goes, I'm getting out of here too. And then it chases me and happens to provide a moment for Sam Neill's character, Alan Grant, to save the kids. I think it came up in discussion where we said, hey, what if instead of being repetitive with the lawyer, not that these guys aren't scary, the dinosaurs aren't scary, but maybe my character is has a little bit of gumption and self-sacrificing heroism in him, and gets that flare, lights it, and purposely distracts the dinosaur. And we all thought that was a good idea. Anyway, if you're interested in sausage making, that changed a little bit at the 11th hour.
Hey, Ian, freeze! Get the kids! Get rid of the flare!
So there was nothing at this point with CGI. So I'm running away from nothing. Hey, chase me, and like that. The rain, of course, is a rain machine. Turn on the rain, and you get wet. There are other movies I've done where they do that, and boy, they don't warm up that water so well.
Take these. Just in case.
Where's just in case.
I'm very proud of you.
Wow, sweet. Well, now having kids myself, I've got a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old. I can't imagine, what it's like if they took a risk as radical as that seemed to be, and have to possibly say goodbye to them for the last time. It would be excruciating. Oh, and I'll bet, I don't know the whole backstory, but I'll bet we've had a good relationship. As you know, we're friends. In the movie, we play chess all the time, and he cares about me, obviously, and I care about him. And, I can imagine that being real. What a great dad he is. I've known him for a long time, but I love him to pieces, and it's a sweet moment. And boy, you really got me. I don't know what you do. Why'd you do it to me? But Judd Hirsch, I'll bet at this point, when did Ordinary People come out? I'd seen him in many things, including Ordinary People. And talk about a cry fest. How you see how easy I am and mushy I can be. When Judd Hirsch's character, the doctor, the therapist, helps. They meet at the office, and he's hysterical, and he has a kind of epiphany, and he cries and stuff. And then Tim Hutton, he says, "Are you my friend?" Judd Hirsch says, "Count on it." And they hug. And it's just very, very moving. I feel, it's fun to go to movies that make you cry. And I show movies to my kids, and they see me, boo, and they go, Dada, what's the matter? I go, it's so sad. So, so I'll bet a little of that was working on me as I was pretending that he was my father. Uh-oh. That's a tooth. Oh, bloody tooth. Uh-oh. Chris Walas, who won the Oscar for the makeup, for the special effects makeup in this, and David Cronenberg, great David Cronenberg, who directed this movie. What a wonderful guy he is, and a terrific artist. They were very careful beforehand in having designed it and had 5 stages. This took 5 hours, as I remember, maybe the suit. The suit comes up to here. And the suit you kind of get on in a few minutes with a little help, a tight-fitting, rubbery thing that they'd beautifully fashioned that comes up to there, and then now it's a 5-hour process. They spend the next 5 hours. Pieces, prosthetics, of course, teeth things that you put in probably later, and then paint. Then it's done in such a way that you start working, and between each take, as I remember, it's starting to fall apart, so they have to be doing that and painting more and gluing more, and so and then at the end of the day, by the way, I always said, I think still, even the last time I did something like this, there's no solvent that can just spray, that's it, you're out of here. It's rub, ouch, it's a little red.
My teeth have begun to fall out.
What I remember, and yes, at the 11th hour in the trailer, now we're on the set, I think a fly appeared and I was able to catch it and thought, hey, this is it flew into our laps here, may as well kind of put it, I don't want to hurt it, but let's pin that thing and keep it alive as long as possible and watch it. I don't know why it hadn't occurred to me before then, but, I see. It kind of moves in this herky-jerky way and does this thing and, got what I got from that. But then, as I remember, the first time I had to shoot a scene, I think it's the scene where I break through those glass bricks. And I think that's the first thing we filmed with this stage 5 stuff on. It started to move around kind of like a chicken. I thought, it's like a chicken movement. It's like, how those things go and they waddle, they reverberate around. I thought maybe it's a little bit like that. And then, here you go, Jeff, crash through that thing, or a stunt guy had crashed through the thing. Now you land in the thing, we'll dump some fake glass, some candy glass around you, and now you come down. Now look for her, and that's it. And I just did what, after having done all that work, hoping that something would come out of me behaviorally, and that's what did. Am I likable? Do people like me? Do they not seem to take to me?
What are you talking about?
We're watching a scene from Kaos, K-A-O-S. This is a show about the Greek mythological characters, some of them, as set in the modern day, pretty much the modern day. You see, I wear different kinds of tracksuits, that kind of thing, and those little tinted glasses. I'm talking in my backyard on Mount Olympus, back garden with Stephen Delane, who plays Prometheus. Stephen Delane is a fantastic actor. If you know everything if you've devoted your life to studying the Greek gods, the myths, you'll still enjoy this because Charlie Cavell wrote these brilliant and powerful and moving and hilarious scripts, and they not only modernize the setting, but kind of twist the ideas.
Do you remember that on all Olympia days past, we would barbecue? The whole gang, all of us would be dancing around the meander.
So this is me and Prometheus. You know, Prometheus was that character who brought fire to the Earthlings, and he's my good friend. In this show, he's my best friend and confidant and therapist and confessor. This was added additional shooting that we did because originally all the scenes with me and Prometheus were on that cliff face. And I went and visited him there. For one reason or another, we changed the content of some of those scenes in additional shooting and brought him with this beaming up business to my beautiful, overly, flaunting of wealth backyard.
Do you see this thing here?
Ah, come on.
Come on. This prophecy.
Jeez.
I think it's coming to pass. It's happening. Read it.
I know what it says.
I said read it. Please.
The line appears, the order wanes, the family falls, and chaos reigns.
Like a lot of these guys who are not really powerful, but are given and somehow find themselves in positions of authority. Listen to what I'm saying now. He may have weaknesses. Real power lies in a person's ability to tell the truth, be honest, be authentic, know themselves, connect with themselves and to others, and to lift others up and leave others better off than they found them. That's a real powerful person.
What are you talking about?
I think he's pissed off because Alex didn't leave us a suicide note. You think he could have summed up his reasons in a note?
Maybe a long note. I can sum up people's whole lives in 32 paragraphs. I once did an entire rock band in a page and a half, and they had 2 drummers.
Well, it's a very rich and warming memory as you see all these people. We had a good time together, We stayed together all in Beaufort, South Carolina, and rehearsed for 4 weeks together and bonded, because the whole thing is predicated on our having a backstory that you feel a little, us having been close, and now it's the aftermath,
I knew he wasn't happy. That doesn't tell you much. I had no idea how bad it was.
Glenn Close is, I stay in touch with. She's very wonderful, and everybody is. Now, William Hurt.
I think it was damn straight of Alex not to cook up some neat, phony Reader's Digest condensation of his screwed up life for our entertainment. I am so sick of people selling their psyches for a little attention. He was classier than that.
What a wonderful actor, wonderful man. And I remember lots and lots and lots. We'll never forget it. I miss him. And he was a spectacular actor and very, very giving and full of life force on this, and had a unique character, unique personality, and was really something. Nobody like him.
What do you think, this is funny? And one of our best friends has decided to kill himself, and we don't have a fucking clue as to why.
You never know why anyone does anything. I don't know why I chose these socks this morning.
Oh, there's a great equation. Your socks, Alex's death.
They're pretty sad socks.
I believe the old theory that everybody does everything in order to get laid.
Who said that? Freud?
No, I did.
Really, it was a beautiful, rehearsal, actorly, serious, special, delightful, thing that we did on most movies. You don't have anything like that.
The great and terrible.
Something bad is happening in Oz.
The best way to bring folks together is to give them a real good enemy.
I'm sorry to be so mushy, but you got me going with that Independence Day, and this kills me. This show just kills me. When I saw it first on on Broadway with Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth. I was a mess. I didn't know what it was. Somebody said, "Oh, there's a hot ticket," and I went in, and I had been such a fan for the movie, for that original material. And I don't know what it is about that primal thing, going home, or to Judy Garland, or that whole movie. It just gets me, and I've shown my kids that movie, and I'm very emotional at that movie. And then Stephen Schwartz's music, and that show just knocks me out. And by the end of it, I was an emotional wreck. I didn't know they were going to be best friends. I was wailing, I think, as people were going out of the theater.
You have no real power.
That's why I need you.
So when Mark Platt, who originally developed this thing into a movie, and John M. Chu, who is really fantastic. He showed me some early footage of, I think I'm going to start with the hat, with, and water. The witch is dead, how she gets drowned in the first one, but we're going to turn that upside down. And he showed me things, and Nathan Crowley had already made some this is the production designer, very brilliant, already made some models. He took me around and said, this is what we're going to do, and would you like to do it? Now we come to these two giant artists and people.
Come with me. What? To meet the wizard.
I couldn't possibly. This is your moment. I'm coming.
Ariana Grande, just, a beloved and giant musical superstar. We met when she was 11. She showed me pictures. I didn't remember. She came backstage to The Pillow Man. I was doing this thing at the Booth Theater, and she saw productions with her mom. She has pictures of the two of us backstage after, or, signing autographs. That's fantastic. Anyway, now working with her, she's to play that part, and you see some of it in it. Absolutely incredible. Her acting and her singing, and Cynthia Erivo.
I'm not afraid.
Out of this world. They're both out of this world. I should have been intimidated. We sang songs all the time on set, and John M. Chu helped us realize this character as a little different from the idea in the movie. I'm a kind of a Tesla character who's invented the 20th century in a way in this parallel universe, and movies and myth making and et cetera, et cetera. At another time, I'll gush about it further, as you can imagine. Thank you so much for watching.